All right, welcome back, beautiful people, to the Three Amigos podcast. My name is Frankie Rodriguez, Christopher Langsdorff on deck, 2 out of 3, and we're jumping right into it. We're going to talk about the new AEW video game. More footage came out today. Chris put up a video on YouTube if you want to go check it out. I'm sure my co-host here will put a link in the description to check that one out, but he did it just a solo one, quick pod video to discuss his first impressions on it after watching it. Now it's gonna be us talking about it, and I'm gonna jump right into it, buddy. Sorry. I don't know. It's is it an upgrade and compared to what it was before? Sure, but overall, it, I don't know. I don't think this is a $60 game. It shouldn't be a $70 game. I'm gonna hopefully it goes on Game Pass. I'm gonna wait for Game Pass. I'm not wasting money on this shit. It's too I liked what you said in your video, and you should all check it out. It was a great video. But if you're
Thanks.
and he Chris made a great point, and I'm gonna adopt that point. If you're a graphics person, this is not the game for you.
You're not going to be impressed.
You're not gonna be impressed. In fact, you're probably gonna hate it. And in my mind, I hate this. I do hate this in a way, but
Pretty,
I can't
pretty
hate it.
rough, pretty rough graphics.
Yeah, it's rough graphics, but like I like how, and even then, like I knew the people playing and like doing the demonstration were like, it's still in development, it's still in development,
Yeah,
like panicking just a little bit. You didn't
yeah.
hear it, but in their minds, I know they're panicking. Like, yeah, this is still in development, and it's not finished. But for the finished stuff, it looks better than like Flash. I want to say like Xbox. It's about on par for like Xbox One games, but not the new
Yeah.
current gen, I
I
would
mean,
say.
again, you got to remember that we're seeing this on YouTube, which like compresses stuff and makes it all always look kind of weird.
Sure.
I was able to find like a 1080p upload, but even that's like not the best representation.
I guess, but I'm still not heavily impressed. Like, some of these, I get it. Like, this is basically a restart for you Ukes
Yeah.
2K somehow managed to pull whatever they could to make a great new game in WWE from pretty much scratch almost. So Ukes is doing the same thing. But to me, they might have taken a different approach with little less money, a smaller team probably,
Yeah.
and a tight window. So for what they're giving you, it's good. I'd say it's good. It's not great. It's not amazing. It's not breathtaking. Keanu Reeves. It's not gonna win awards. I don't think it should make the average wrestling and even above average wrestling fan happy. If you want different games to play, if you want to play as a wrestler and you're done downloading creator wrestlers from the calls and download store in 2K from any 2K game really, then this makes you happy. And it does make me happy too, but I'm not going to pay money for this. I'm not. Absolutely not. I like what they're doing. I like having the option for another video game. Even though I can't afford this now, like before, like I couldn't afford to buy TNA's video game or Legends of
Right,
Lucha
right.
at the
Back in the
same
day.
time back in the day
Yeah.
and play with SmackDown versus Raw. Like, no, I couldn't. When did 2K adopt or take over? When did they do that partnership? 11?
I believe it was
2011?
15.
15. Oh, okay.
Or
That's
no, no,
good.
no. Sorry. 14 because it was The Rock on the cover.
Ah, okay. And so, like, that's a good partnership. It's worked out for them in the long run, for the most part, until the disastrous, what was it, 2K20, among other things, that it
Yeah.
went wrong in 2K20. Um, it's it's still a rough cut in my opinion. Is it better? Absolutely. If you were a fan, a loyal fan and listener of this show, you know that me and Chris tore the full, well, not the full review, but a a, a taste, a sample, the samples at
Yeah.
Costco and Walmart, mainly Costco, of what they did for the video game with Nyla Rose and Dr. Britt Baker and Jungle Boy, and it did not, absolutely not look good. What they gave us now looks better than that for
Yeah.
sure. It's 1,000 times better. I'm willing to argue and bet than what they did, and
Come a
even
long
then,
way. It's
come
come
a
a
long
long
way.
way.
And people were still commenting like, "Oh, this looks great, great and
No.
amazing." I gotta find the comment again. I gotta find. I always remember reading like, "Yes, this is like super great." It was some really like wow comment. Like, look, It's
Yeah.
your opinion is your opinion, and I can't judge, but like that was a shocker of an opinion because this is not. I would even call that alpha footage. What they showed, I don't even know what that was. What they showed back a
They
few
shouldn't
months
have
ago.
showed it.
They
I
shouldn't
don't know
have
how
shown it
else to.
because
They
I
just
would be
shouldn't have.
worried.
Yeah. I mean,
But
you can slap the like work in progress under gameplay all you want, but if it looks as bad as what AEW showed us before, they just shouldn't show it.
yeah, exactly. And lucky for them, like most of the fans were positive to it and forgiving, whereas
Much
people
nicer
like
than we
us,
were.
yeah,
Yeah.
us, we tore that shit a new one
Oh no, we alley-oop pass like slam dunked on it just repeatedly over and
straight through the
over.
Spanish
Yeah.
announce table, straight
Yeah. Oh yeah.
over and
Off the
over
top of the
again.
ladder. Yeah.
It was the running gag of Nia Jax taking Lana into the table every Monday night. That was us just doing that over and over
Yeah.
again. Off the Hell in a Cell.
Well, so
Uh
what did you see that you thought looked promising? Because I like I said, like I wanted to get the graphical stuff out of the way because I was like, look,
yeah.
I already know what people are going to complain about. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
graphics, and I said this as well. Like I'm a graphics guy. I'm not gonna lie. Like I want my games to look nice, especially sports games.
Yeah, yep,
Um,
of course.
I bought a big TV. Like I got a PS5. Like I want shit to look really really nice. But that being said, I can also acknowledge when a company is pretty transparent about what their graphical like style is going to be,
Hmm.
and their goal was never to make this look like 2K or
Yeah.
MLB The Show or Madden or whatever good looking games, Forza, that kind of shit. Like from the beginning, it was like gonna look kind of goofy. I don't know how else to describe it other than like it looks kind of goofy
Yeah.
graphically.
Like
Um,
if you look back at any two like past 2K games, like I loved the oh 08
yeah,
video game, and even and that was on Xbox 360 at the time, like next gen. I still play. I remember I got 08 and I was still playing it on my PS2, but that shit was on Xbox 360 and
game
PlayStation
was
3.
awesome. Yeah.
The game was fun, and looking back, that footage, depending on who you are, may hold up. Looking back at it, like I saw time looking at it, I was like, yo, this kind of holds up still. And then there's
in
times where like
in in full HD, if someone could get that into 1080, I think it would hold up pretty well.
it'll hold up decently, and
Yeah.
then there's times where like, damn, this game is pretty
Yeah.
dated. But like,
Um,
it's different. So like, what I
yeah.
liked is that I definitely like that it's a wrestling game. They said what it was gonna be, and they're pushing that, and the movements look is exactly what I want to see in my wrestling game. It's like, oh, transition, do your special. We have your special, which everyone has, or excuse me, signature. You always have a signature.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens has his uh, I actually don't know Kevin Owens' special. So we're gonna do
He's not, yeah.
yeah.
Weird
So
choice for an
yeah, I know. I
example.
don't know why that came out of my head. Canada, whatever.
Think of like the Batista spine buster, and then he picks you up for the
Right. Yeah,
Batista drop.
exactly. We're thinking like I'm
Yeah.
sure Eddie was alive. It would be the Three Amigos. That'd be his special
Yeah, into the frog
signature,
splash.
Frog Splash. With CM Punk, it'd probably be like a kick is going to be his special. Actually, I don't know what his special is going to be in
His
this game.
special is stealing money from Tony Khan, I'm pretty
That's
sure.
right.
Maybe
Maybe.
he's gonna get taken out of the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a different podcast
So
episode.
yeah. Um.
It's cool that we're getting options now though. Like,
Yeah.
one of the things I thought was interesting was that this is the first major sports title, because I think of it as sports, maybe some people don't,
Yeah. Combat
that
sports.
has a competitor now. Because like there's only one baseball game, there's only one basketball game, there's only one football game. There's gonna be two wrestling games now. And that's pretty good. I mean, like you were saying, the animations looked compared to the Jungle Boy footage, and I think like the Darby Allin footage that we saw before, which
Mhm.
the animations looked super stiff and wonky. Considering how dated and like silly the graphics look, the animations look like surprisingly smooth. I don't know how
Yeah.
else to say it other than like I was like, oh wow, they like actually got their shit together, like
Yeah.
worked on this. So it's cool to see like anytime you see gameplay footage and then you see it again and it looks improved, because sometimes we see more gameplay, kind of like what Gotham Knights is going through, where like people revert back to footage we saw 2 years ago and they're like, why does this look better? Like no one's gonna say that about the AEW game.
There's nothing
Like
to
the
compare it
new
to. Yeah.
footage looks way better than the old stuff, and it was cool that we got a full match. Um, Seemed like they showed a lot. I like. I think like I still have questions about like how many people can be in a match at once. I'm a little bummed about the entrances, the decision they made with the entrances. We're only getting like
Partial.
2 to 5 second entrances in this game, and that's, for anyone that watches wrestling, that's like a pretty big part of the pageantry of wrestling.
Yeah. The
Is the
presentation, man. It's
entrances.
presentation.
Yeah, I mean the entrances in 2K, some of those are like I'm watching real life. It's incredible how much detail went into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are certain, guys like Kenny Omega or Adam Cole, Darby Allin, guys who we would like really love to see their AEW entrances in a video game, and we're not gonna get that really, which is kind of a bummer. But I will say, like, the gameplay to me, most importantly, if you're punting on the graphics, which is kind of what they're doing, I think the gameplay for a game that's like 6 months out, it looks really good. Like, if they're punting the graphics and they're like, okay, we're just gonna try to tighten this gameplay up even a little bit more, I think the game's gonna come out in really good shape. I I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is gonna be a $40 game very quickly. I think this game's gonna go on sale maybe 2 or 3 weeks after it comes out. I would not be surprised if they get to, I don't know, January, and they sell it to Game Pass, or they sell it to PlayStation and Game Pass or whatever. Because the pre-orders might not be what they want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be discounted. I think it's gonna end up being a free game at some point. I think this is probably a tough sell at $60, at least as a pre-order, until people like really get to see, you know, how in depth it is. I like that they didn't show the mini games. I think those are dumb. I think those shouldn't be in the game to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you watch AEW, you watch it because you want to see people wrestle. And so if you're buying an AEW game, you're not buying it to hit home runs in a baseball stadium. Like, you're buying it to wrestle as the guys on AEW.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, from what they showed from the match, like, I could totally see myself playing this, having fun with it, getting invested. I think the worry is like, how much content is there going to be? Like, are we getting, because I think they hinted at a career mode, but again, like, is it going to be like 10 matches and then that's it sort of thing? Or like, are we getting like, a 2K, which is like a 25-hour story sort of thing? Um, they did say there's going to be some leaderboards for online. I don't know if it's going to be like an AEW record sort of thing where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you move up based on wins and losses, or if it's like leaderboards for the mini games, which again, I don't really think that's interesting. Um, I would have loved to see the exploding barbed wire death match, which they have said is in the game. And I think gonna if you're gonna show a gameplay demo, you have to show that eventually. You can't leave that out, because they also said there's no steel cage match. Um,
Yeah.
so I think like some of the budget is kind of showing a little bit.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Um,
Also the team in a way, like let's
yeah.
like they kept saying like Kenny Omega, like, and that's one of the things we we kind of tore into new one. Kenny Omega in the video game department, like, again, we don't know him personally, but like there's no indication or ever that he said he has a video game creating background
He's
other than
not a game
Aubrey.
designer. Yeah,
He's
he
not a
shouldn't
game
be
designer.
involved. I
It's
don't
just
know how else
Aubrey.
to phrase it.
Aubrey is a software engineer. She's created shit before. She's created apps, she said, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So like that she's the only one that should be anywhere near from AEW in the AEW game department. And she said she is. So, and I don't even know if she's still involved with that because she probably has so much on her plate.
Yeah, that's
The only reason
true.
Kenny was able to be involved more so is because the dude was injured and he needed time off. So like it's just it's like they kept saying like, oh yeah, Kenny's heavily involved. Kenny's like he's like hands on with this project. I'm like, should he be though? Still, like, in my head,
Yeah.
I'm not convinced like he should be anywhere near this. And that's not trying to be
Yeah.
disrespectful towards Kenny. He's a great performer, but that's what he is a performer. Um, Nothing in his resume, nothing out there. Again, like, I don't know him personally. I could be wrong. If someone's listening, like, tell me and I'll apologize. But like, I just don't think I'm willing to bet he's not a game designer. He could be a game tester because he's a great gamer,
Yeah, he's a
as we know.
fan. Yeah.
So he'd be great to he'd be the guy I would want him to test. That's about it. But I don't know. Like if he's saying some things are in this game are okay, then maybe we should hire a few more people to try out the game. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
so
want it
we
to look like a
should
Street Fighter game, you know?
yeah, we should mention that like they've said this is not going to be a yearly release.
Yeah.
And so I think that's interesting because graphically, is this game's already far behind. And so if you're not going to make a new one for a couple of years, it's going to start to look even worse. But what's exciting about that is that too often we see sports games release every year for full price and change almost nothing, or very few
Yeah.
additions. And so I do respect the decision to really be the first sports game that's like, we're not going to do yearly because maybe it's a budget thing and it's just not, worth it. Like they can just release DLC packs and season passes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, that might allow them to turn the game into what it should be or what the fans want for less than the price of releasing a new game every year like 2K does, and people are just like, oh
Yeah.
man, I hope special guest referee is back, like, oh, I hope the Inferno match is back, and then it's not, and then you're like, all right, well, next year I'll pay another $60-$70, hopefully my favorite matches in the game. Like if they're gonna go the DLC route or the season pass route, that could work in their favor because like you said, like if people do pick this up on sale or they pick it up, download it when it's on, Game Pass or PlayStation, then if they enjoy it and then you release like, we don't know the full roster reveal just yet, but let's just say Keith Lee, Malachi Black, and I don't know, Andrade are like DLC pack 1. And then with that first DLC pack,
Mm.
they add the blood and guts match, like that gets
Oh
it.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so all of this is $15. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, that's like better than just waiting and paying another $60 for a brand new for a new quote unquote new game that's basically almost exactly the same. Um, so it could work. I think that what's exciting is that there's a lot of potential.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
not often that we get competitors in the sports game department. There's like a shitload of first person shooters and third person action RPGs. There is like one maker of sports games for each sport.
Yeah.
So we're getting a second one, which is exciting. They're not going to be able to compete with 2K. They don't have the budget and they
Yeah.
just are not there like from a studio standpoint yet.
Hmm.
But I think that if this is their first game, hopefully it's the first of several.
Hopefully it's the last. Nah.
Um, but if it is the first of several, I think this is a pretty good jumping off point.
Yeah, it's fine,
I
I guess.
it kind of sucks because like graphically, I think that is what people are going to dunk on this
For
game for a
sure.
lot.
I'm dunking on it a little bit.
Yeah, and
I'm trying to look past it. I really am.
I
I'm
understand it, but I think like it's not often that I feel this way, but I think based on the gameplay that I saw, I could see myself being so into the gameplay that I am not as concerned
I
with
guess.
the way the game, especially because the game plays so quickly
Hmm.
that it's I don't think it's the sort of thing where you're going to be like paying too much attention.
I
But
guess.
I think really the thing that I'm looking for is like how how much is going to be in this game? Like, is it going to be 5 match types, 20 wrestlers, and 3 mini games, or is it going to be 50 wrestlers? 25 different kinds of matches. Not don't fucking it doesn't count when it's like 1-on-1, 1-on-2, no, no, no. I mean
Yeah.
like a lot of different options for match types. And then like a decent career mode or like a season mode or something where you can like work your way up the power rankings and then challenge for titles. I don't know how they're going to do any of that. So I'd like to see more on that stuff. All I
Yeah.
ask for you, Frankie,
Hmm.
is to give it a chance.
I no,
I
of
don't
course I'm gonna give it a
I
chance.
don't
When you
think it's
buy,
worth
I'll come
60
over.
bucks. I don't think it's worth 60 bucks. If
Hmm.
this goes on sale for 40 within like my guess would be
A month.
a month.
Oh, it's coming out in November?
It comes out next February.
Oh, okay.
So if it goes on sale, I think before 2K comes out, which is
Hmm.
probably what they should do,
Yeah.
I would I could see myself picking this up and then waiting for 2K to go on sale.
I guess.
Instead of like waiting and picking
Hmm.
up 2K and then waiting for this to go to streaming or something like that, subscription
Yeah.
service.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
It's got potential. I want to see the roster. I feel like that's going to make a big difference.
It's like a Pokemon game.
Yeah, we want to see like Cody, Darby. I guess CM Punk will be in it. Mox,
All right.
Keith Lee.
I guess
Hopefully, like Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky
yeah.
Starks, all those kinds of.
And that's what gets me. Does that tickles my fancy? And that's what gets me excited. Like I said initially at the start, is like you don't have to keep going back to create a wrestler. You can have these
Yeah,
wrestlers now by buying both of
yeah,
these games, and you just switch it alternatively. And you know if you have and if it's I'm pretty sure it's going to be, you know, a virtual purchase as well. You could just don't have to switch discs anymore. You can just
yeah.
turn off and switch it on. My last point, something to leave you on. As I stated before, I wish that they had been more patient and just waited. I think they still jumped the shark a bit, not too much.
I think you're right though. I think this game
Should have waited.
probably could use another year and a half.
Not even that. They should have established who they are, what they are, their identity, push the talent, push
Mm,
the OG talent. As you know, we're seeing some
hmm
of the issues arise right now. Go listen to our podcast about that, other podcasts about that. But like they should have been more patient and just waited a couple years down the line until they made a video game. I don't know how
I
long.
see what
Like
you mean. Yeah,
I've always been adamant about that. I've said it, and I'll remind the audience and you that they should have waited. But
yeah.
and even with that thought, but like you actually inspired me, and I think I've said this before, but you re-inspired me about what I said or what I've thought about is like they do a DLC pack, and hear me out. If this is successful, you do a DLC pack, and again, this requires a massive budget. So maybe not. It's probably not. It's not even going to be in this game. It's probably going to be in future games. Hopefully, if this succeeds, and I'm hoping it succeeds now because it has to succeed, or else it's going to die and it won't exist anymore. But they have to do an ROH pack and a New Japan pack because they have this part. Because Tony Khan owns
Mm,
ROH and they have the partnership with New Japan, and that opens the door up for even Lucha Libre packs. Like if they have a working relationship with AAA, which they technically do, but there's a lot of politics going on with that because New Japan actually works with CMLL, and
yeah.
but AEW works with AAA. But maybe they all fix that, and then you can have all of it, all of the indie wrestling you could ever want.
Honestly, think you're onto something, man. I
Thanks,
think you're on,
man.
and I'll say like I think and I've kind of been like wishing that a game I used to play a lot, MLB The Show, would do this. I mean, I think all sports games should like stop coming out yearly,
Mm,
but I think they're onto something. Like they might be ahead of their time in the sense that they don't have the budget for what they really want to create.
hmm
But I think releasing one of these games every few years gives the fans what they want in terms of like you'll keep getting new content, you'll keep getting new content, you'll never have to pay $60 every year for a new game,
hmm
and it gives the devs like an actual development cycle because yearly
mm,
games, for those people who don't know, usually get a 9 month development cycle, which is ridiculous. It's almost impossible to make any improvements in 9 months. Most AAA games get like 4 to 5 years. And if you release this game next year and then do season passes and DLC for 2 years and then schedule the next game to come out, 3 years after, so like 2025, then you might be onto something because then, they've had a long time to work on that game and they've learned what works and what doesn't and where they want to take
hmm
it. And that element is exciting. I think AEW entering into this market is exciting. They probably jumped the shark. They should have waited a little bit longer, like you said,
hmm
but they're going at it either way. And you got to at least give them credit for attempting to enter a heavily dominated
Yeah.
space already
They
for
haven't
WWE.
give it's not the good old college try just yet. It's still the thesis in progress. So
Yes.
we'll see what happens. But that's all the time we have for you, beautiful people of the podcasting universe and world. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Three Amigos podcast. I'm Frankie. That's Chris, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.